Okay, so welcome back, everyone, to the Survivor Stark channel. It's been a long time. We got here with the nastiest plague of a sickness of all time. Had finals, exams, stuff like that. We're here, quick time crunch. I'm trying to fit this in, gotta get this done, because I've been waiting to talk about this episode for a while. And of course, Christian was the one that got sent home. And what I think it comes down to is he played really hard. Start of the season up until his merger. Chilled out a little bit here at the merge, but his target was huge. Coming in the game, let alone after what he did to kind of ball out in that pre-merge. So we go into this episode. Another twist also came into play. The Jimmy Fallon vote for yourself twist if you lost the journey. Also, I hate journeys. Just get them out of the game, please. I think they're just so unbalanced, and this is, I think, one of those times. The gain was not worth the loss. Christian really got hurt by not just voting for himself. I think that is maneuverable, but what really did was the worst part of that advantage, I think, is he had to just tell everyone about that. Like, that's so awful. And like, the voting yourself, I don't think it's that crippling if you know what you're doing. You can lie about what you did on the journey, but they completely removed that opportunity for Christian, and that ultimately just really crippled him, because it's like Rizzo once again speaks, I think, an idea that makes a lot of sense, and that is he already has a vote. He can't play a shot in the dark. Why not get him out? And because the advantage makes him tell people that he can't do that, it's just a clear vote out to get Christian. And so what Christian also did wrong, more like his gameplay, because some things like that are a little bit out of control. He did sign up for the journey, and it's not a guarantee you can get an advantage. We've seen it a lot during this season. But Christian unable to get the puzzle down, which was a little bit surprising. He really had, I think that's a good point, is Christian might have taken a step back challenge-wise in this season, not just with the last puzzle on the journey failing that, like the tribal challenges leading up to here, not able to get much done challenge-wise. And so when you go to tribal a lot in that pre-merge, it forces him to play in a really self-preserve mode. Like, he has to make moves to set himself up for the merge and just keep him alive through votes. And when he goes to tribal council more than any other player, that's going to be a problem, because, I mean, tied with other players, but he is part of the top of people who went to tribal every single time. And he has to make moves to maneuver around. He has the David versus Goliath group, which, I mean, I think it made sense to get one of them out, because being paired with them in that pre-merge, if you keep all three of them going into the merge, you're setting yourself up for a huge target. So I think it was a smart idea to kind of break up that David versus Goliath group. But in doing that, he had to make some kind of flashy moves at 3-2-1 to get Mike White out. That kind of triggered Ozzy a little bit, like, well, Christian's being a little too devious. Obviously, Stephanie's able to see Christian's intelligence in his gameplay. Got Angelina out right after. Angelina had an awful season. I'm sorry, a lot of that baffles me. It's alright, because she voted with him at the end still, after he betrayed her with the Mike White vote. Still votes the next time just to get sent out by Christian. But then, yeah, so Christian plays really hard. And then he goes into the merge with his whole kind of like middle alliance intact with Devins and Emily, obviously. And Aubrey seemed to be a little bit on that side as well after, Christian gives her the idol. And, there's kind of the pairing there with Aubrey and Devins. They vote together in that Blood Moon twist to get Genevieve out. So, and you go into this episode, you just lost 2 honor and integrity members. I think if you're a Christian, you got to realize that by getting rid of this group and kind of crippling them, getting 2 out at one time, they're not going to be the next target. And so who becomes the next target? Well, your little middle group with Aubrey, Devins, Emily, and yourself as Christian. And then you have someone like Aubrey who was not afraid to jump ship and not go crashing down with them. While Devins and Emily are very loyal, improved that by sticking with them till the end of that last vote, despite Christian being the one to go home. Aubrey was never fully committed and was super fine with just getting off that ship before it burns too far. Aubrey kind of setting herself up in another position where she can make something happen, and is not tied to that sinking ship. So Christian, then he has his secondary alliance, and you would think this would set himself up very nicely with Suri and Ozzy, and Rizzo. I don't think he's too tight with Rizzo, but tight with Suri and Ozzy to some extent. And then getting Ozzy out, I think it makes a lot of sense for Christian's game. I think it's a good play. But he screwed it up by telling Suri. And you can't do that, because I think that's a really big misplay. I know it's easy to say from outside just watching that. Well, obviously you can see Suri and Ozzy are aligned. You've seen all angles. But I think it's kind of a bit naive to not think so, even in the game, just from the theory and logic that day one, you have the whole Jenna versus Suri thing. And I think the key takeaway from that group is Ozzy is going hard to protect Suri. And he was not trying to hide it. It was very obvious what he was doing. He was very blatant with it. And everyone saw that. Ozzy didn't change anyone's mind to get Suri. That's kind of what people wanted to do to keep her. But Ozzy stood himself out as someone that is just, no, I will not get Suri, like just stone cold on that decision. So that's got to trigger some things in the mind, I would think. They've played multiple times in the past. They're two old schoolers. They last season together on US Survivor, they played together. They're both on Game Changers, so you got to think, okay, well, I get you think you're close with Suri, but you think Suri's really thinking that... You think that Suri believes that she is part of your primary group? I think that's a little underestimation of Suri. You got to realize that she's doing stuff too. She is shown to be a phenomenal player. And maybe you didn't respect her as you should have. And I think Christian and that was really just crippled him. That sealed Christian's fate with the Jimmy Fallon disadvantage as well. What was he going to do after going to get Ozzy out? Or trying to get Ozzy out to his number one, or to someone who Ozzy is their number one, and their 1A, 1B with Rizzo. When you should have, but then you were in a tough spot with Christian. That was honestly, I think this time you actually had to pitch something else, because it's tough because Christian just pitted himself up against the Honor and Integrity group. And so why would they want to vote with him to get Ozzy out? Because they still feel like Ozzy is a little bit with him. They don't feel fully comfortable with him, but there's something there. So Christian, even if he wanted to get Ozzy out, which I think is good for his game, I think it's someone that he should get out and it would take him far, but I don't know if it was the time, because he had no one outside of his close alliance, obviously. And I think maybe the best play for Christian here was kind of to eat his own and maybe throw Devins under the bus. As crazy as it sounds, as hard as it sounds, who is he going to get? Because Honor and Integrity, I mean, they're already kind of destroyed. What is the benefit of getting them out? You look like such a big threat with your group fully intact. Especially people assuming Aubrey's still in the group. They think, okay, we got to take care of this group before it gets out of hand. So by being so reluctant to get out your own, I think that really was a bad play in hindsight. And I think what separates these players is you have to know when it is time to switch it up and play an individual game. Aubrey showed to do that. And obviously, there's a chance that Aubrey gets to the end. I feel like that's a lot of people are thinking that, as crazy as it sounds, just because she is not at the target list of anyone, and she's able to play for herself and maneuver, because there's a group that's going to be targeted each and every week. Who knows which one it's going to be, but if Aubrey can slip under the radar, because people, these groups, as they're getting voted out, they're realizing they need numbers, and Aubrey's setting herself up very nicely to get picked up. And Christian, he didn't set himself up to be that player. He set himself up as like the group leader of the nerds alliance group. And he played too hard. He set himself up with a big target. And when it comes down to him or Emily, I think it's just Christian's a bigger threat. And he set himself up to be a bigger threat this season especially. And he had to realize that it was time to switch up, I think, on Devins. I think that might have been able to save him by claiming that idol was fake. People might have been on board with that with the public display, that it kind of, he kind of triggered and kind of annoyed some people with last episode. But I was going to do this one here. What do you think Christian could have done? I think he set himself up to be a big threat, and after the honor and integrity got voted out, he was the biggest fish in the sea almost. He went on a journey, he lost, and it was hard to avoid voting for him at that point, especially when you go after Ozzy. It was a really bad play to tell Suri that, and there's some big missteps here by Christian, despite playing some very strategic moves in that pre-merge and being very cutthroat, but some bad plays really set himself up quite awfully and got himself voted out. That was going to do it this one here. I gotta go. Hope I can be back soon, but I hope you enjoyed the next episode. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for this one, even though it's the Mr. Beast episode. Let me know what you think. I'm not too worried. I'm actually getting a little bit excited at this point. I don't know why, but everyone's entitled to the thing. If he's a piece of crap on there, then hey, I'm standing with everyone on that. But I hope you have a nice morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are right now. Peace.